like eating a big pile of beans. I call it the Impossible Commandment because in our world, in this universe, in the way we see things, it really is impossible. But it brings up a choice. It brings up a choice that we'll talk about. You have a choice who God is, or you at least have a choice who God is to you. We're going to talk about that choice that Jesus gives us. Judgment is all in our world. We can't help it. Everyone judges everyone. We all have a problem with it. We have a problem praying for our enemies. I admit I have a problem with that as well. So this is the Impossible Commandment. Talking about judgment. Can I get one more, Kate? My wife offered to buy me a new toothbrush recently. And she's using it. And when you brush your teeth, it'll give you a smile. Christy, do you know about this toothbrush? Yeah. So if you're brushing your teeth right, you get the little green light, and if you brush your teeth right and long enough, you get a smiley face. If you do it about halfway, you get the meh. Marnock said, is using this toothbrush, and she said, would you like me to get one? And I looked at it and I said, no. And so she bought me one anyway, and threw out my old toothbrush, and she said, it's good for you. Can I get my next slide, please? Judgment. I find myself in front of the mirror now watching this green band around this stinking toothbrush and thinking, am I doing it right? I'm trying to please this battery-operated thing. And if you're really bad, you are very bad. You get that, and I didn't notice this until Marta showed. I think the left eye on that thing is like a black eye. I mean, this is seriously, you did not brush your teeth. And I find myself trying to please this little battery-operated toothbrush so I don't get negatively judged in the morning. I want to get the smiley face with the stars on it. It's what I really want. Let's talk about judgment and the crux of what Jesus says in this second part of the passage that we're talking about. If we take it that Jesus came as God to show us who God really is. You know, we've been sort of playing around with this for 2,000, 3,500 plus years, and we're still doing the sacrifices and we're still following the rules. It's a strict reward-punishment system. And Jesus comes and says, look, you can't earn extra points. God already loves you. Now, if you want to have a happy life here, be forgiving, and other people will forgive you. Be giving, be loving. Forgive people. And people will give good things away, and good things will come back to you. It's like the karma thing. You know, what goes around comes around. But this is who God is. Love your enemies. You will be children of the Most High if you do these things. Because God is kind to the ungrateful, and God is kind to the wicked. God is kind to the ungrateful and kind to the wicked. So be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. But what's the problem here? Why are people leaving the church? What's the issue, one of the issues here? Can I get one more, Kate? Because the image of God that most of us have in Christianity, and you know you think this a little bit in the back of your lizard brain. I have a lizard brain too, and in the back of it, I still think of God as, I can read 99 things that Jesus said, but then there's the one little thing about cutting off your hand and throwing it into the fire, and we go, ah! This is the God that appears in 2 Samuel. Does everybody remember this? David is bringing the ark back to Jerusalem. And the ox cart is bringing the ark. And Uzzah is a priest, and one of the oxen stumbles. And the cart with the Ark of the Covenant starts to founder a little bit. And he just reaches out just to touch it, just to make sure. We don't want the ark to fall off. And God gets so angry, like a really bad, jealous, toxic boyfriend, and strikes him dead. Strikes him dead. Merciful? Be merciful. God doesn't seem to be merciful, does he? Can I get one more? This is a devotional I can't wait to buy. God is our judge. I can't wait to go through the daily devotional on that. Jesus is struggling every day. He finally starts telling stories about kids who sell their father's estate and run off and come back, and they don't even have to apologize. The father brings them back and says, come here, get a ring on his finger and a robe on. But we don't have that image, really. The image that a lot of us have, and most of our religion, is that God is very angry. Merciful? God's not merciful to his enemies. God hates his enemies. Richard Rohr and Brian McLaren had a talk on this that I was listening to. God is the eternal torturer for most of our religion. Like that toxic boyfriend or toxic girlfriend, you better make him happy, because if you don't make him happy, he has the power to send you to hell forever. What's like merciful? Jesus says, forgive 70 times 7. God doesn't forgive 70 times 7. I'll tell you a quick story. So Marta grew up Roman Catholic. And in the old days, if you ate meat on Fridays, you were in big trouble. So Marta doesn't think like this anymore. But still, on Christmas Eve, she just can't eat meat. There's just something about it. She just cannot do it. It's so ingrained. And so with the children, we would have spaghetti on Christmas Eve, spaghetti, with sweet white meat sauce. Well, most of the kids hate seafood. But you can eat seafood on Fridays or on feast days. The sweet white meat was lobster, chopped into little bits, and the kids just loved it. But these are the lengths that we would go to keep from eating meat, because it doesn't really add up. God is a God of infinite love and compassion, merciful to the end. However, the problem is the image that a lot of us have of God, most of Christianity, is quite frankly toxic. And then, to boot, God is infinitely merciful, but he's also infinitely angry. So you need to have a personal relationship with God. I've preached this before. I submit it is impossible to have a personal, transparent, loving, give and take relationship with someone who has the power to send you to hell for all eternity. Does anyone disagree? Does anyone disagree with that? At least for me, I can't imagine it in my mind. Kate, can I get one more? This is where I think the choice comes in. We have a choice. You have a choice, I have a choice. We have a choice individually and as a church. Who are we? Who do we believe God is? And what God is it that we want to show to other people in the community as we try to be a light of God to the world? You get to choose, in other words. Is God a God of infinite love and mercy, or is God angry and a judge? In the last days, is it you entering a courtroom with God as the judge, or is it a banquet? The choice I try to make personally is that Jesus says again and again and again and again, it's a banquet. It's a banquet. It's a gift. Everything is a gift. Your life is a gift. Don't judge, because we have no right to judge. We have no rights at all. Everything is a gift from God. And so we have that choice to make. As I sort of start to wrap up here, I made some notes. Kate, can I get one more? So you get to choose. Is God the angry judge? Or is it, as Jesus said time and time again, a banquet of love and inclusion? We had our Bible study on Monday, and we're talking about Corinthians. And one of the questions Paul asks of the Corinthians, and that I asked of the people in the Bible study, is, are we a mature church? What's a mature Christian? Are we a mature church? And as we talked about it and bounced it off of Paul says a mature Christian is someone who doesn't judge, who is giving, loving, caring. And I said, what about us as a church? And we talked about it. And I believe this is true. I believe this church is a mature church. I believe that this little church right in the center of this community is filled with kind, loving, non-judgmental, we're not perfect, but kind, loving people. I think we need to keep choosing that maturity, keep choosing that vision of Jesus so that we can be a light to each other, light to the community, and a light to the world. It says many times in the Bible, I put before you life and death, choose life. Let's keep choosing life. Amen.